King Charles was given the royal treatment in D.C. yesterday, where he addressed Congress about the special relationship between the U.S. and the U.K. and urged the administration to remember their country's history. Excuse me. Take a look.
Magna Carta is cited in at least 160 Supreme Court cases since 1789, not least as the foundation of the principle that executive power is subject to checks and balances. In the immediate aftermath of 9/11, when NATO invoked Article 5 for the first time, and the United Nations Security Council was united in the face of terror, we answered the call together. That same unyielding resolve is needed for the defense of Ukraine and her most courageous people. It is needed in order to secure a truly just and lasting peace.
You know, a kingship is looking kind of good right about now. I'm just saying. But do you think the message got through? I don't know if it got through. I know it got through to people in the room. I don't know if it really got through to people outside the room. What's your opinion?
I thought he struck a great tone because it was all about the importance of global society and allyship for your friends, and he kept slipping that in. But everyone gave him a standing ovation, and it was bipartisan support. So I'm like, I hope they're really internalizing what the point of those words and that messaging was. But President Trump seems super psyched about the speech. So I don't know if those messages were lost or if he's maybe changing his tune. I don't know.
He also did
caught what was being thrown down.
He did like a roast also. He did a bunch of jokes.
He did. The roast was funny.
And a lot of his jokes were about history. Like he did a joke about the War of 1812. And Trump's like, I ended that one too.
So, I mean, listen, I think it's very clear what the Brits are trying to do. They realize that the NATO alliance is in a fractured position right now. The president has drawn real doubts in the importance of the alliance, and they've been putting on the full court press since Trump came back into office in the second term. Last year, the prime minister hand-delivered that letter to the president, inviting him on a second state dinner, an unprecedented thing to host him with the royals. Trump esteems the royals. He's been open about this. He cracked a joke.
He wants the crown. He wants that crown.
And he cracked a joke about how his mom had a crush on Charles. But yeah, they had the second state visit. And then he also, it's only the second time a monarch has done this joint address to Congress. So I do hope the terms break through, because one of my biggest criticisms of this administration is not recognizing you need friends and allies. They've shown up for us, and we have to show up for them.
But the White House posted something that him and Charles, and it said two kings.
Yes, it did.
That was rage bait.
Can't he make up his mind? Is he Jesus or is he a king?
Oh, the White House? The White House posted that?
Yes.
The White House posted it.
Yes.
And that's why
I want the other guy. I didn't mean you, sir.
That's why I don't want any kings, but that's why I don't think it resonated with the president at the very, very least. Like during his remarks, the president said things like, you know, this country, we have Anglo-Saxon blood running through our veins, and it was.
I don't. I'm Italian.
And it was fascinating to me, because if one knows history, 20% of the colonies were the enslaved Africans, and so he doesn't know
the people who were here
the
when
Native
everybody
Americans,
got here.
of course, the indigenous people.
Okay,
so he doesn't understand history. I don't think he understood a lot of the jokes. He certainly didn't understand the roasting about the environment, because everybody knows that King Charles is an avid environmentalist. He spoke of the natural wonders of the United States and our shared responsibility to safeguard nature, our most precious and irreplaceable asset, to a president who withdrew from the Paris Accord. So I don't think this president got anything out of it, but I hope that members of Congress did.
Yeah.
Well,
speaking of comedy pushing the envelope, the king just casually joking about the War of 1812 felt like a real pushing of the envelope there. I was like, oh, he's going there.
Well, he also talked about the East Wing of the House.
Yeah, that was what I was referring to.
He also talked about that. That was interesting.
He's very much his mother's representative.
Yeah.
He's very much his mother's representative. And you know, the alliance with the United States came at a great cost to the English. You know, we went in, we did what we could to help. And this idea that we're suddenly now having to fix something that wasn't broken really bothers me. It bothers the hell out of me, you know, and I like King Charles, you know, I've always been a fan of his. He's got the patience of Job.
He really does.
He really
remember when he
does.
said, 250 years ago, you know, you guys are celebrating your founding. We call that just the other day.
Yeah.
Right?
You know,
We're a young country.
We're a baby
Yes.
country. We're a baby country, and we're going through our tantrum state right now.
Yeah.